We're going to start over. I'm Mike Fabio. That's me.
Handsome guy.
I'm the founder of Tiny Jetpack. That is my digital media marketing company that gives me the right to talk to you about social media, I guess. I also do a whole bunch of other things. I run a bunch of businesses. I'm hoping there's some entrepreneurs in the crowd. Anybody? Really? Come on. More than one. Come on. Okay. I'm also an entrepreneur in many ways. Johnny and I co-founded, as he said, companies. You can ask me about those later, but this talk is really about social media. I'm going to use this opportunity to bust myth number 0. Social media is narcissistic. Yes, I just talked about myself. It's in order to give you guys context, which as you see is a big part. So myth number 1, social media is easy. You've probably heard that. Part of a lot of skills. You're going to need to know how to do video editing. You're going to need to know how to Photoshop things. You're going to need to know copywriting. You're going to need some old school marketing chops. You're going to need to know how to analyze data. You're going to need to know a whole lot of things that are not easy. Is sending a tweet easy? Yes. Is sending a great tweet easy? Definitely. Brings me to myth number 2, that social media is really, really hard. Because it's not. Forget about everything that I just told you for a second. Remember, at some level, it's not that hard to find cat videos on the internet, guys. This stuff is all pretty easy. In fact, you're probably already doing it today. If you're an entrepreneur, you're already going out and finding customers. You're connecting with them. You're making emotional connections with them. You are finding out new channels to reach them. You're finding out what they care about and what they want to know about. You're finding out what they love about your product. They're probably complaining about your product, and they're probably equally complimenting your product. I hope they're complimenting your product. But at some level, you're already doing it. It's not really that much. Myth number 3. Of course, if it's not hard, the intern can do it, right? I'm going to tell you one good reason that that is wrong, and it's probably not the reason that you think. Actually, it has nothing to do with experience or chops or anything like that. In fact, there's going to be a lot of interns out there who can probably do this job better than you. The one good reason why interns probably shouldn't do this job is they're not really part of your company. How long have they been with you? How well do they really know your business? Do they know the ins and outs of every part of your business? Do they know, how many lines of code have they written? How many deals have they closed? And how long will they be with you? At some level, being social has to be part of you. It has to be part of what you do. Your business is a part of it. Therefore, everything that you communicate to the outside world should come from you. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you, we'll see in a second. But just remember that social media has to come from the company. So myth number 4 is that you'll do it yourself, which you can do. I do it myself. I run several companies. I do all the social media. It's not easy. Doing social media is a full-time job, as I mentioned. It's something you have to constantly be thinking every single hour of every day. Remember that the internet never really sleeps. There's always going to be people in the world who want to know about you, want to interact with you and your company, want to hear about what you're going to do. I like to say that wearing lots of hats is a great circus trick, but it's not really something you should do. Myth number 5. You build it, they will come. So let's just say that you have just finished shooting and editing your first great marketing piece. When you do, you put it out into the world. Then what happens? You get zillions of fans overnight, right? For everybody in here has probably experienced that at some point or another. You put out the thing that you thought was the greatest piece of content that's ever existed in the history of your company. Unfortunately, making great content is only half of the story. And it really, really, really is half of the story. Don't half-ass your content. That's really, I mean, if I had another bit to add here, I got a bunch of them. Don't half-ass your content, but also don't half-ass your implementation. Make sure that everything you put out into the world has as much care put into its delivery as it did into its creation. Implementation can take on a lot of different forms. It can be little things like metadata, which are actually not little things at all. Pay attention to your metadata. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, come find me out. It's little things that make big, big differences in how people react. Now, the other thing about social media that's important to remember is that growth doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly. I like to say that it takes followers to make followers. So just putting content out in the world won't instantaneously build anything. It's the continuous and sort of just make it regular. That's the key. And make it regular. Myth number 6 is that your customers love social media. Some of them probably do. Some of them have no idea what social media is. Where are your fans at? Are they on Facebook? Twitter? Anybody? Where are you guys finding stuff at?
YouTube.
YouTube, great. What kind of business are you on?
Karaoke.
Perfect. YouTube is a great place. Now, why did you go to YouTube?
We partner with Viva.
Okay, so you're automatically into YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so you make content.
But we were surprised how many hits we got with the partner.
Sure. So your content is tailor-made for you. Perfect. What if you're a video game company? YouTube? Has anybody here heard of Twitch? Anybody here? You guys play video games, right? 37 million people every month go to Twitch and watch other people play live video games. 37 million people worldwide. If your company works in video games and you're not on Twitch, you better get over there right now. So my point here really is go to where your customer is. Go find them. Go to where they're. If they're not on Facebook, waste your time on Facebook. Honestly. It's really important too to remember this isn't about an age thing, despite my funny picture. My grandma, she's on Facebook. My 13-year-old cousin is not. Remember that you have to go where your customers are. Myth number 7, you need accounts on every service. Now this follows from the last one. But I can't tell you how many times people come to me and say, should I have a Flickr account? I don't know. Are you a photographer? Sure. Maybe not. What about Google+? How many people on Google+? Any success with it? So why stay there? Right? I mean, I'm not going to knock Google+. I actually think it's a fantastic service. I think it's a terrible market for one good reason, and that's that nobody actually uses it yet. So go to where your customers are. And if that's not everywhere, then don't bother with everywhere. Myth number 8. This is a big one, and this is a tough one. And I hear this time and time again. In fact, I heard it just today while I was in a client meeting. I kid you not. B2B companies can't do social. I'm going to tell you exactly why that is wrong. Anybody heard of this company? Maersk. Anybody? You've seen Captain Phillips?
Yes, I did.
That's where you heard it. Okay. So, unfortunately, you heard about it because one of their ships was robbed by pirates. But despite that, they have about 1 million fans more than you do on Facebook. So, they're doing something right. They are a big B2B company. That's all they do. Shipping. They build, or they don't build it, but they have shipping containers. They have shipping trucks, shipping trains, and shipping ships. That's shipping ships. But what they do is they make really great content that connects with people. People, not other companies, but people. So this is a photo of one of their shipping containers that's been turned into a classroom. This content has nothing to do with shipping. Nothing. But it connects with people. And their customers, whether they're companies or not, are just people. to be catching this theme?
Let me take a picture of that.
Sure. Thank you. Well, I'll link at the end where you can download it. Thank you. Myth number 9. Brand communication shouldn't be personal, funny, quirky, or any of the other things, right? Your company shouldn't be connected to those cat photos on the internet, right?
Wrong.
Wrong. I'll tell you a couple reasons why. Now, this is a company that sells dog clothing. But this is pretty dang funny, right? Okay. What this content does... It's good, isn't it? What this content does is it connects at a human, emotional level. The emotion here is humor, right? You guys have seen humor work time and time and time and time. But remember, there's a whole bunch of human emotion. There's fear. That's actually not a real ad. That's a student project, but I think it's fantastic, and somebody should do it. There's the absurd, or acts of wonder, things that just are so freaking weird you don't know what to think of. This is an Old Spice ad where he controls this crazy musical machine using only the muscles in his body connected to the microphone. Go watch the video, it's pretty fantastic. There's other emotions like exhilaration. How many people saw that? How many people watched that live? A couple people, all right, cool. That, I think, was a fantastic campaign by Red Bull, where they, this guy, Felix Baumgartner, jumped out of a, well, balloon that was in outer space. Well, this one. I'm not even sure if this is an advertisement, but if it's not, it should be. This is hilarious, but it's also risque. It ties into something that you maybe don't see on an ad every day. And I think that's a really problem. The important thing to remember here is that all of these things are connecting with people on an emotional level. It's something that's inhuman. And that's what makes really, really, really great content. The biggest myth of all is retention. There's probably bigger myths, but this one bugs me. No one is listening, and I'm shouting into the void. Anybody ever felt like that while marketing their company on the internet? No? Oh, you guys are doing it right then. All right. Because I feel like this every day. You have to constantly be reminding yourself. And that is, at the end of every television, and every computer, and every one of these things, what is it? A human being. And they're listening. They're watching. Paying attention to what you're saying. You guys have read the text on every single one of these slides, haven't you? And I haven't read it. You guys sat there and watched. Yeah, you're sitting in front of me. I have a direct line. This channel to you. But remember, there's a human being. I made these funny because you guys don't want to sit through a boring ass talk, do you? So I made these funny so I can connect to you guys. Because you're humans. And I care about you. I didn't just read a press release to you guys. In fact, I didn't even have my notes, and I kind of managed to do this thing anyway. But, and yes, I probably was just going to read. But just remember, there's always a person at the end of this thing. And that's who you're marketing to, is human beings. That's why it's called social media. It's social. Don't ever forget that. And those are my 10 myths, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed those. But now, I want to turn it around to yours. And that's my cat Angus, because. Thanks. Yep. You can download the PDF. This, if you want. But I'm ready to take your guys' myths and either bust them or I'll tell you that they're totally real.
Facebook, advertising. Is it worth the money? Is it worth really getting in and figuring out what kind of marketing you're doing?
I was actually hoping that would be the first question somebody asked me, because it's a very good one. If I had a myth number 11, it would be that social media marketing is cheap. I think that's a really, really hard one for a lot of people to wrap their head. And the reason I didn't include it here is because I'm not sure that it's a myth. I'm also not sure that it's true. I think that there's something to be said for both angles. As much money as you can dump into Facebook, it will start driving traffic. After that, I can't promise anything. It's advertising just like anything else. And therefore, not inherently social either, right? You're not building great content for the purpose of having other people talk about it and spread it and respond to you. It's not a social object, it's just an advertisement because it's displayed, it's broadcast. And it's powerful for that. Don't get me wrong, there's billions of people on Facebook. And they're going to get your message if you advertise to them. But it's not inherently social. So I have a hard time with that one. The other thing I have a hard time with in terms of social media being cheap is that there are certain things you can do that are totally free. I can steal other people's cat photos and post them on my Facebook page all day long and it costs me nothing and it works. It really does. But if you want to make really, really great content that's centered around your brand, probably not going to be free. Plus you're going to have to pay great people to do this stuff, and that's unfortunately not free. So it's kind of a mixed thing. Did I answer your question? Okay.
And about the B2B, you said it was really good to have a million fans. Does a million fans help them, in their B2B efforts?
Great question.
1,000 good fans be better than a million random fans?
That's exactly what my client asked me this morning. The answer is, it depends on who those fans are, right? Is a million fans going to really help them? Maybe not. If there are a million fans who, let's say they're all college students. Maybe not their target audience. But if those million college students are somehow connected to other people who might be their target audience, then they can be useful. The thing is that you have to assume that, since we're talking about a million fans and not 100 million fans, that a good chunk of them are probably well targeted. I can't promise that, of course, but actually if you flip back, you'll see that their interaction numbers are actually pretty good. 2,000 talking about this. Pay attention to that number. I know that it sits there on all of your Facebook pages and you kind of go, I have no idea what that means. But the best thing to do is divide that number by that number and figure out the percentage of people that are paying attention. Good numbers are in the 2 to 4% range, but they can get much, much better than that. Anybody know George Takei, formerly on the show Star Trek? His Facebook page has more than 100% interaction. How is that possible? It means people are actually interacting with his page that aren't fans of his. So those are great numbers. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked, but the answer to the B2B question is that these million fans are great if they care about your company. If they don't care about your company, they're great because they can help spread the word about your company to other people.
What is B2B?
Business to business.
You mentioned how much time social media takes. What's your opinion on companies that, or the idea of blasting out the same content all through social media?
As opposed to segmenting and choosing and differentiating content. Here's an example. I tell people never to cross-post. So a lot of people have their Facebook page connected to their Twitter account. Every time they post on Facebook, it goes out to Twitter. It's ineffective for a number of reasons. The biggest reason being that Facebook and Twitter are formatted. And therefore, the content that goes into them has to be very different. You can do photos on both, but they don't behave the same way on both. You can put in as much text as you want in a Facebook post, but you only get 140 on Twitter. If you cross-post to Twitter, you get a link back to Facebook, and what's really the point of that? You want to be driving interaction and engagement wherever you are. And you do that by building great content and reformatting it for the places that you're going. Now, I'll throw a wrench in that here. Sometimes it's better to post things on Facebook than it is to post them on Twitter. Sometimes it's vice versa. Sometimes you really, really do want, sometimes you have great content, perfect for Reddit, like cat photos. That's what I think. But it might not work on Facebook, because it turns out all your Facebook fans don't care about cat photos. So, to tie back into the time question, yes, it takes a lot of time. That's really, that's what I was trying to drive home at the beginning. This is really hard. It's not just a matter of creating one great photo and spreading it out in the world. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and that's where I talked about the implementation piece. So you create the great content, and then the implementation is format it for Twitter, format it for Instagram, find a home for it on Tumblr. Make it work for those mediums. Does that answer your question?
Is it possible to market your Facebook with certain occupations, such as hairstylists or personal trainers?
If you're advertising, yes. So if you're paying for it, yes. If you're not paying for it, it's very hard. But using Facebook advertising, you can target based on a whole slew of different pieces of data, including employer. So actually, the single best advertisement I've ever seen on Facebook, I used to work at Warner Brothers Records, major record label. And this was actually before Facebook changed the rules. You can't do this anymore. But the advertisement actually said, hey, Warner Brothers Records employee, blah, 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 blah. They knew exactly who I was. And it was creepy and scary before retargeted ads were even a thing. And it wasn't a retargeted ad. All they had done was created 100 different advertisements and targeted 100 different employees. So, I mean, that's one way of doing it. There's a number of different ways of getting your content to specific groups. You just have to. Am I good on time? Two? I don't know what you're doing.
It's not me, don't look at me, I'm not the
All
boss.
right.
It's that guy.
We have time for another one.
Okay.
Talk about how Facebook is changing the rules and how your posts are seen less unless you participate in the new scam that they're running.
Yeah, so actually, I'm happy to talk about it, but everybody should go read a recent article that was posted by a company called Eat24. They are an online food delivery platform. They don't actually deliver the food themselves. They wrote a fantastic article about why they are leaving Facebook for this very reason. For those who don't know, Facebook has a ranking system. It's called EdgeRank. And EdgeRank basically determines everything that shows up in your home feed. So, how many of you guys subscribe to various brands? I'm assuming everybody. How many of you subscribe to like 200 brands? Probably a good number. How many of those do you see? Maybe these many. And the reason for that is that EdgeRank has essentially pushed all of them away. Now, the one way to get around EdgeRank is to pay them. It is a little bit of an extortion deal, but it is still viable, much as I hate. You can pay Facebook to get your posts to show up more often in other people's homes. I'm not a fan of this. I think this, just on a personal level, I think that this ruins everything that was once great about Facebook. As a marketing platform, I still think Facebook is extremely viable, only because of the sheer volume of people that you can reach from it. But as a social platform, it is slowly going down. That's my opinion. I don't work for it.
I have one question.
Yeah.
How come every time I feel like I see the same 3 people post over and over?
That's EdgeRank. So EdgeRank, in addition to changing how often you see brands post, also changes how often you see your friends posts. EdgeRank is kind of a black box formula. Nobody knows exactly the numbers and the way that the formula works, but it has to do with something that's called an affinity score. Johnny, you and I probably have a really big affinity score for a number of reasons. We're connected in a couple of ways. We have very similar friends. You and I interact a whole lot on Facebook. So Facebook gives us an affinity score. And actually, we don't have the same affinity score. It's not symmetrical. So your affinity score with me is not the same as mine with you. EdgeRank is based on that affinity score coupled with a couple of other things like time decay. So the longer a post is in the system, the less you see it. And there's there's other things like that are happening in the social graph. So if all of Johnny's friends are talking about something, I'm likely to see that. Things like that. So EdRank is very complicated and kind of murky waters, but EdRank is what controls all of it.
Where's that market?
Which one? It's actually not about EdRank specifically. It's by a company called Eat24, and you can probably just go to it's on their blog. So eat24.com. EAT24.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Any other?
thank you so much for coming and dropping knowledge on us, Mike.
And if you guys have other questions, find me afterwards. Happy to talk.
He's here, and Mike is also going to be participating in KEC's inaugural Digital Media Accelerator that's going to kick off next month as one of the instructors. So he's going to, we're very fortunate to have him and a couple of other guys here once or twice a week for the next couple of months. So Mike's going to be around. If you have more questions, want to get to know him, I highly recommend that. And so, yeah, give him one more round of applause.